My name is Emma Barker and I am a volunteer with Christian Aid, and it's wonderful to be able to share a short reflection with you during this Christian Aid week. Since the lockdown, my physical world or my bubble has become very small. The furthest I've really been in the last 8 weeks is the 5-minute walk to the park with the dog, the occasional detour to the post office, and the excitement of taking a trip to the pharmacy for my prescription. During this time of COVID, I realised that for the first few weeks at least, I'd both become physically locked down and also in my thinking. My mind was consumed by staying safe, making sure my friends and loved ones were okay, and lamenting the things that couldn't happen: friends' weddings, seeing loved ones, house moves. One evening I was watching a news report on the NHS Nightingale hospitals and half scrolling through Facebook at the same time. I saw a post from my old colleague Bex, who works at Christian Aid, and she posted about how they were furloughing staff and were expecting a £6 million drop in income. My mind jumped to some of the communities and people I'd met when I had the opportunity to travel with Bex to see some of Christian Aid's work in the Philippines. I looked at the TV and the beautifully equipped NHS Nightingale Hospital and thought of the stark comparison to how ill-equipped so many of the world's poorest countries would be to fight the coronavirus, aside from the existing challenges they were already facing. Jesus tells us numerous times in the Gospels that we're called to take an active part in meeting the needs of those around us, near and far away. In Matthew's Gospel, chapter 25, Jesus tells us of the importance to provide for people's needs. When I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. When I was sick, you looked after me. When I was in prison, you visited me. And he calls us to do this, not to make ourselves feel good, but to reflect his light and love into the world. Christian Aid has been for so many years, for so many people, a point in the year where they deliberately take part in Christian Aid Week as part of their public Christian witness to love our global neighbour. To raise money, to campaign and to pray for our world. And while this year we can't have a typical Christian Aid Week, the need to support the charities such as Christian Aid has never been so important, and the call from God is still there to love our global neighbour. So this Christian Aid Week, I pray that God would help us all to look out to the wider world, to extend our bubble, to extend our love to our global neighbour, and to speak out for those without a voice, and of course to pray.